Well, what's going on, everybody? This is George Teague. It is a great night for us to be able to talk a little bit of football, Dallas Cowboys, Alabama, all that. We are live out at 6205 Court Road in Plano, Texas. The Lantern Street Grill and Tap House. Man, it's awesome, man. We're sorry that we're a little bit late for you guys that are maybe popping in for the show or whatnot. First time that we actually had three of us together at one spot, and we had a little bit of work that we were doing at JP2 at the school, so our apologies for that, but unfortunately some of us still work. Some of us, I don't know. These guys don't really work.
I was there too. After work.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the deal, and I want to get in it just because we're a little bit late, right? I want to go ahead and start talking about our kicker. So before I introduce our guests, I want to preface it this way. So I want to get into it. All right. So I kind of got into a little Instagram war with, I don't know, just some people on there because I was talking about how I thought Dak was wrong. So we won't talk about what happened, but I thought Dak was wrong for what he said during the game, right? And everybody just kind of went with, well, he's a kicker. That's all he does. He shouldn't miss, blah, 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 all this kind of stuff. And I pushed back a lot by saying, okay, he's not supposed to miss. I get it. We don't want him to miss. I was taking exception to not that he missed 4 kicks. I was taking exception to Dak making that kind of reaction as a leader, as the quarterback on national television. I felt like he was basically isolating the kicker. So I was saying, hey, how would he feel if when he was throwing all those interceptions, whether it's his fault or not, that the kicker be like, hey, run the damn ball, couldn't let him throw, blah, 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 right? So everybody, well, you can't compare the kicker to the quarterback, and the other guys dropped it, and so they went down that rabbit hole, and I just kept trying to bring it back saying, I'm not saying I disagree with them, but Dak, I felt like if there's something you got to say to a teammate or a player, do it later. You know you're the face of they're looking at you, so for you to say, go for 2 like that, you're basically not helping your teammate out. And he has to go back to the locker room and sit with this guy, eat with this guy, have lunch with him.
Your sister's in the chat, by the way.
Is she?
Yes.
Yeah, she told me she'd be joining.
Oh, okay. Well, hello.
Hey, Catherine, how you doing?
We do appreciate you. So we wanted to bring in someone that could kind of give us a little bit better insight to this. I have been trying to get him on to the show a little bit. JT's been big time to me for a few weeks, though, but we're glad we're able to get him in here. This gentleman has multiple. We just show him these rings. I don't know if you really looked at these rings he got on his finger.
Oh, I saw one. I mean, you can't miss it. Hold it back up. I'm going to zoom in on that.
Yeah, his SEC ring is bigger than my national championship ring, and his national championship ring is definitely huge. So this gentleman, I think he actually hold a record too, maybe, or something at University of Alabama. Is that right? Or somewhere with the longest punt?
Yeah, not at Alabama per se. It was at the time it was the 4th longest punt in CFP history.
Oh,
and now it's
my bad, bigger than that. It's bigger than Bama.
and now it's sitting around like something like 6 or something like that. John told me.
Of course John knows.
Well,
I said, of course John knows.
Yeah, John knows. Yeah.
Well, that is so awesome. But he's won a national championship. He won the SEC championship. Played in big games. Been around some very, very good teams. He's a punter for the University of Alabama, so he knows all the ins and outs about special teams. And so we wanted to bring on our expert to be able to talk about this and maybe shed some light on how this can happen. Although he's a punter, what is the mindset of a kicker, the holders, everything that goes on like this. So find out whichever button it is. We want to give a round of applause to Mike Bernier for coming on. Teague State
Yeah, I appreciate you having me, George.
So he was there. You were in Alabama.
Yeah.
Your first year there was.
So I started my career out at Eastern Illinois in 15, and then I transferred in from there to Alabama in 16. Towards the end of 15.
That's good. That's good. So what made you how'd you end up getting to Bama and choosing Bama?
I had a really great season at Eastern Illinois. Was all conference, all that good stuff, and I just wanted to be closer to home, really. And what better place to do it at than the University of Alabama? So, entered the transfer portal and took myself back down to Alabama to play some real football. So, I got the great opportunity to join that team, and I've been grateful ever since.
Was the NIL a thing then? Is that
No,
why you came?
no, pre NIL. But yeah, that would have been great. Some NIL money here and there, but no, NIL was not part of the situation then. It was, I don't really want to get into all that stuff, but
you can.
Okay,
we don't hold back on this. Well, our thing says it's not suitable for kids.
So
even better.
No.
It 18 says, and plus, right?
It says
PG-13?
not made for kids.
Not made for kids. Oh, okay. Well, I knew it was something like that.
There's a difference.
Just in case you wanted to.
No, yeah, I want to address your comment first about what Dak was saying.
All right.
And, there's how you put it was, if the roles were reversed, what would be said?
Yes.
Right? And you're absolutely correct. If you think about it, if a kicker was standing over there on the sidelines after Dak Prescott throws 4 interceptions, he wouldn't have a job.
The kicker.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you really think about it.
So you can put it in real context with the Jacksonville Jaguars when dude threw 4 interceptions in the first half. Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, he went 4 for 4. Four touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Exactly. If his kicker's over there, saying run the ball instead of throwing the ball, it'd be a totally different story. So should they have gone for 2? Maybe. But in reality, and a lot of, kudos to their head coach was sending him out on that last touchdown to give him an attempt to make the field goal, right? Because they knew they were going to win the game. Him sending him out again for the 5th one for the opportunity to make it, and him making it, kind of took him out of that mindset, like, how am I going to make this next one, right? Going into that next game, he's got game experience now where he's playing in a big game, and he knows he can make it now. So moving into the next week, I got all the confidence in the world in that kid. 5 years now in the NFL. He's missed 6. What is it? Let me look at my notes real quick. He's 128 out of 134 in extra points.
Okay.
5 of those coming in 2 games, the last 2 games. So, could it be a mental thing? Yeah. But, he went out there, he made his last one, and I think he can move forward and, do what he's been doing for the past 5 years.
Okay, so how were you – and I don't know if you were watching it, but if you were you watching it?
Absolutely.
So if you were watching it, what were you saying as a special teams guy? Because even JT and I – so what I was tweeting was move the ball over, give me another place to kick it from, where some of us were saying also – go for 2. When does coach need to start? When is it the appropriate time to, regardless of what the score is, hey, I need to not do this again?
Yeah, I think the score has a lot to do with it, right? Because it's a really close game, and he's missed 3 in a row. Maybe it is a good opportunity to go for 2, because he's missed 3 in a row. What's the likelihood of him missing a 4th one? Who knows? Why not go for 2 when your offense is really rolling, and give him the opportunity to put it in for 2?
Yep.
So,
I think I would like to look at that stat. I'm glad you brought that up of 128 of 134, but I don't know how many times we've actually gone for 2 or 4th down and didn't kick a field goal or something of that nature, what those percentages actually look like for a 2-point conversion.
I do just want to say, by the nature of missing the first one and scoring a second touchdown, regardless of what was going on in the kicker's head at the time, when the score was 12-0, the book absolutely says go for two.
Anyway. You should have went for 2.
Yeah, statistically speaking, 100%.
And I don't know why he didn't. Why he just wanted to go for, make it 13 to. At that time, it would have been 13-0, but he missed it. So I don't know. I probably would have went. I don't know if I'm trying to think. So when I was sitting there at that time, I was also thinking about what I went for 2 just because to try to make up for those 2 points.
Right.
But
I definitely would have. That's what I thought, and it wasn't even. It was. Yeah, I mean, obviously it was because he missed the first one because that's the only reason you had 6 in the first place.
Right.
But as soon as they scored, I was like, all right, well, you're supposed to go for 2 here because you want to be up by 2 touchdowns, and you're playing. We can talk about Tom Brady later, but at that moment, you're like, all right, it's a whole lot better to be up.
But you're still
14.
up by 2 touchdowns, 13 points. You
It's
still
2
got to score
scores,
2
100%.
touchdowns.
Yeah.
Well, yes, but
I mean, you could lose by 1, but
that's what I'm saying. Well, that's the whole thing is like being 12. The difference between 12 and 13 is not that significant. But to get to 14, that means the other kicker has to make both of his field goals, and you just had one that didn't make his. Luckily, it was a little bit different because you end up missing 2 more extra points after that.
Sure.
And it could have gone off the rails.
the thing following you?
It is following me.
Yeah, sorry.
Whoops.
I just had to
Likes
look
you,
at
man.
that. Yeah, everybody like, what's going on over there?
I was gonna
How come
say.
JT getting all the camera time.
My bad. Turn that
I
off.
thought I was tired walking in here until that bright light came on. I was like, no chance.
It warms you up a little bit. Okay, so let me before you go in there, I want to get back into the mindset of this a little bit.
Okay.
So, real life story. Now this is a punting deal. I'm just saying I don't know if this goes into the psyche of a kicker and why people are quick to judge. But I played for the Miami Dolphins. It was 1997, and the punter was in practice now. Yeah, in camp. Punts it. I guess obviously he's in the pros, good punter, whatever. He punts it, shanks it over.
Yeah.
Jimmy Johnson's coach. Line up, do it again.
Mm-hmm.
Punts another one,
Yeah.
shanks it. God believe it. One more time. Shanks the third one too. Jimmy Johnson told him get his shit and get off the field and go. Cut him that day. Now, I have no question about that. My question is about the mindset of what actually happens. What makes you fall into a rut, if I can just, for lack of better words, and then how do you get yourself out of it?
Yeah.
As a kicker or punter.
Yeah. I know you mentioned earlier, like keeping it on the same hash, moving into the middle, moving to the other hash, whatever it may be. The mental aspect of it is like this guy has made or, done this tens of thousands of times. He knows where he's most comfortable.
I was going to ask you, do you think that they didn't move it to the middle because he was like, look, if I'm going to make one, it's going to be here.
Right.
This hash.
And, a lot of kickers have like a natural fade or a natural draw of their foot, right, when they kick a ball. And, the way he lines up, it looks like he plays a natural fade off his foot, right? Yeah, to the right a little bit. So, in reality, moving the hash when he's been on that hash the whole year, I feel like that could mess you up more psychologically than anything. Because if you start moving all these things around just because you miss 1 or 2 extra points when you've made 10, 20, 30, 50,000 times from the same place, for me, if I went out there and tried to switch something mid-game, oh, no. No, I don't think I could go out there, even if from a punting aspect, like shortening your steps, right? Like, a lot of punters can be like 3-step punters or 2-step punters. Mm-hmm. Like if my coach came up to me and said, hey, I want you to, if I was a 3-step punter, and say, hey, I want you to take 2 steps instead. Like that completely messes up your timing. Mm-hmm. For me, that's something that just keep doing it the same way, right? That's more of like, hey, I'm on the sidelines and I just need to move on to the next thing.
All right.
right? Like leaving what's in the past and just moving on to the next kick. And, that could be a big thing. Like he just couldn't forget about it. So.
Well, I mean, he got out of it. And hopefully he'll be okay. What happens this week?
Sure.
They brought in another kicker. Mm-hmm. I don't know what that means or why you do that. Does that make more stress? But I don't even know, honestly. So I'm going to ask you, what does it do to the kicker? But, JT, then you can come back. Are you even going to take two place kickers to the game anyway? So what is the point, I guess? So
are you sure you wouldn't? Think just.
I don't even know who this guy is.
Well, me either. But apparently he played for the Patriots and was fine, I guess.
You know his name?
I can find out because somebody texted it to me.
Okay.
But, my point is I just don't know. Are you going to rely on that guy that's been at home? You're in the second round of the playoffs.
Sure.
To win the game for you.
Yeah, I think that you get so, I guess you can say used to, but like you're in week 18. You're in the playoffs. Is bringing in a new kicker that you've been with the whole season just because he missed a couple extra points. It's just like, is it going to mess up the chemistry with the long snapper, the holder? Is it going to mess up the chemistry between all the specialists? I think absolutely. I think sticking with him at the end of the day is going to be a better option than bringing in somewhere out of the blue who, might not have, he might have been sitting on the couch 3 weeks ago.
His name is Tristan Vizcaino. He kicked in 3 games this season for the Patriots and the Cardinals, going 2 for 2 on field goals and 3 for 3 on extra points.
But why did they get rid of him, though? That would be the backdrop. If you kicked in 3 games, what happened that they had to release him?
Actually, I think the Patriots kicker was injured, and they brought him in for.
So he wasn't even there. He was at home, probably.
Yep, 100%.
But he wasn't good enough to get on anybody's squad.
Hey, well, hold on now. To be fair, it's not like, Brett Maher has been with the same team forever.
Yeah.
He was on a practice squad last year for the Saints, and they let him go.
Sure.
So,
all right.
He was with the Cowboys for 2 years. Then he was with the Jets for 2 years. And then he's been on 1-year deals with new teams each year after that.
Well, I'll tell you one that he was definitely not beating out Will Lutz at the Saints. That guy's unreal.
Yeah, he's pretty good. I don't know. I haven't had any bad kickers in my fantasy football league, so I do pretty good on week to week switch. I change kickers every week, just depending. My guy was Ryan Suckup from the Buccaneers.
Real deal, Holyfield.
And the other guy from Oakland, or I guess it's not Oakland anymore, the Raiders.
Auburn kicker.
Jacob Carlson.
Yeah,
No, not Jacob Carlson.
Carlson.
Jacob Carlson plays at
Yeah,
John
he
Paul.
played for us.
Carlson is his last name.
Yep.
Yes. Okay, so JT, do you think with them signing someone, are you going to take up a spot on the 53-man roster going in this game to take 2 kickers just in case?
Here's my thought.
Or are they trying out right now? What's going on?
Hear me out. I think the answer is yes, because why the hell would you sign him in the first place if that was not the plan?
Sure.
If you're going to pay him some amount of money just to be like, hey, come in here, practice, but we're leaving you at home anyway. Like, what is the point?
Who are you gonna leave? I mean, you gotta not take a lineman, a wide receiver.
It'll probably be Jason Peters since he's hurt.
That's another great point. I mean, if you really think about it, like a lot of the times the backup kicker is the punter. The backup kickoff guy is the punter.
Well, I thought if you were going to go get a backup kicker, you might as well just go get Jeff Heath. Since
they can play something else too.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't remember what happened. I don't remember if all the kickers got hurt, but Jeff Heath had to get out there and kick a field goal. He made it, and then he kicked it off. So
Stop.
And it was quality too.
Stop.
I quite literally said, "Hey, why don't we just go get Jeff Heath? At least he can play safety and believe
Kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
Yeah.
No, I get that.
Okay, well, so we're going to stay on this kick for a little bit because it's really interesting. A lot of people like to talk about the football aspects of it, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so could any of this have been the elements, or is it just so ingrained? You know, the grass is different in Tampa than maybe it has been. You know, we play on turf here. I know they kick on grass fields because they got a grass field for him to practice on, but maybe it's cut different. Do you really have to worry about that as a kicker? The plant foot, where they place it or whatever. How much does that really play into the opportunity to make it or miss it?
I mean, these guys are absolute professionals, man. I mean, they probably got two different types of cleat setups, one for grass, one for turf. They got different bottoms on them. I know I wore two different kinds of cleats. Because, I mean, if you really want to get down to the nitty-gritty of it, you know, the grass cleats have grass bottoms on them, and they have longer spikes on them, right? And that was better for my plant foot because I could get better traction when I planted into the ground.
So you wore two different shoes.
But they were both soccer cleats, but one had a grass bottom, one had a turf bottom. So my kicking foot had the turf bottom on it because it had shorter spikes. And your foot gets really close to the ground when you swing it through. And same with kickers, right? Those longer spikes, you know, it might be, you know, a really small difference, but as close as they're getting to the ground to swing up through that football, those spikes can catch, and a lot of them shave off the spikes on the front of their cleats when they swing their leg, so that it doesn't catch. But the elements, I mean, these guys prepare for it all, man. They know in pregame what the wind's going to be, what the stadium, you know, is it going to swirl around? I mean, I don't think the elements play a lot into it. I mean, these guys prepare for everything. Now,
except for the blizzard in Buffalo and 50-mile-an-hour winds, how do you practice that?
Now, yeah, that's a little bit different, 100%. Yeah, I mean, that's something you can't really prepare for, right? You can prepare as well as you can, but for blizzards and, you know, 50-mile-an-hour winds, that's just something you got to, like, just deal with, I guess, you know.
But that's all you do is kick, man. You should be able to make it.
But where are you going to find 50-mile-an-hour winds and blizzards down here in Dallas to practice it?
They need to put them in the indoor facility there. Get a big fan in there.
I don't know if they're putting that kind of investment
I know you're
in the
being
kickers.
sarcastic with the 50-mile-an-hour winds and things like that. Yeah, I get it. But I will say part of my anger was just because I don't know how y'all was kicking in Alabama. All I got is what our kickers did at Drake. Mm-hmm. They didn't run with us. They didn't condition with us. They didn't lift with us. They didn't even practice on the same field. They would go on their own field, and they would kick field goals for about 30 minutes.
Hang out.
And then sit on the sideline and do nothing. So.
Yeah, but their reps are different. They can't kick for 2.5 hours.
I understand that.
Their leg will fall off.
I understand that. But.
Appreciate that, man.
Good Lord. He a coach, too. He should know, man.
So what you got to say about not conditioning with the rest of the team?
I don't know what they're doing there.
That's what I said.
But I ran fourth quarter. I did that summer conditioning and weights. Oh, I was in there like swimwear, buddy. I'm telling you.
I can only speak from my experience. So
Can
when
you
our kicker
went like swimwear, what the hell does that mean?
You get the wedgie.
That's just one of my sayings, man.
You know, the wedgie.
I'm not going to get all deep into that one. Just take it for what it's worth, I guess.
Okay, all right, whatever.
But, you know, when you have your kicker then go out and miss a game-winning field goal, and it's hard to stomach it sometimes because you're like, dude, quite literally all you do is kick, and you're not in the weight room with us, and you're not conditioning with us. So, like, when we're out here doing the rest of the stuff, what are you doing?
All right, so I know I'm speaking out of both sides of my mouth, but because I want it to be a good debate, too, right? So I do ask. I can say think that sometimes, but I also say it's still different. It's like being a 7-on-7 quarterback. You get a throw, yeah, whatever, no rush. Everybody looks good, bam, bam, bam. It's like practice for a kicker out there. They're just down there and they're kicking. They're taking their normal swings or whatever. And it looks good. But there's just something different, man, when people are coming at you. You got to be sure, man, is he going to snap it right? Is the hole right? And then here comes this guy. I know he's getting close to my leg or whatever it is. I just feel like there's still that element of action because there are a lot of people that look good at quarterback when they stand back there and throw, and then when you put a defense over there, they look like booty.
I will also say I have the same mindset with quarterbacks, though. Like, if the Jags had a backup quarterback, like if the Jags still had Gardner Minshew on the team and I watched Trevor Lawrence throw 4 picks,
You bench him in the first half?
I would have
and bring
benched
in?
him too. I'd have been like, no, dude, this is a playoff game. Like, get your shit together. I got Gardner Minshew, who's been out here before, and I know he can do it. So, yeah, I would just like Saban yanked Jalen Hurts in the national championship game. I would have done the same thing.
All right. I mean, I'm not discounting it because I don't know what I would do. And
I think the difference is, I think the real difference is with the quarterback is if you're already losing because you have 4 picks and you don't have a guy behind you, there's not we should just go for 2 option. It's like if you're behind.
What did y'all do this year? At JP2 when the quarterback play wasn't that good.
Yeah, but
You went to freaking what's it called?
yeah, we ran
Wildcat. You play Wildcat the whole time. You put a wide receiver back there.
What
Here we go.
the ball. What do we do? Got a different quarterback.
I'm just
We
saying.
replaced him.
But it wasn't after one game. It was
What?
half the year in at least.
No.
I'm just saying. Anyway, so I think kickers and punters are maybe sometimes crucified, too fast sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah. I mean,
Not all the time.
and it had it been 4 field goals in a row, it might be a different story.
You don't think that would have been? I feel like it would have been, or at least in my head, I feel like that would have been less egregious to me. Like if you go out there and you miss 2 50-yarders and you chip and you shank one that's from close, and it's like, all right, yeah, but those 2 50-yarders, like that's a hard kick. I'm looking at it like
he's thinking of it from the points of points. You're not talking about 4 points now. You're talking about 12.
Gotcha. Well, so I do have this question for you about. So you would assume, I didn't see pregame, but I would assume that he was making them pregame. And I would also assume that when he came out to warm up for halftime, he was hitting them at halftime. Otherwise, like, I find it hard to believe that if they would have went in for halftime, that he goes out and he's still just like shanking all the ones at halftime, he wouldn't have kicked another one.
Yeah.
But presumably he came out and he warmed up and he's hitting them. So what changed? Mentally, what do you think changes from, all right, I'm making them all before the game, and then I missed 3, and then you're probably doubting yourself, and you're like, man, I don't know if I get another one. But then you come out at halftime and you're like,
D-Law body slammed him at halftime. So just like together. Who's going to be more of this after the game?
Oh, you definitely wouldn't have seen him in the second half of that, for sure.
But anyway.
So what kind of happens mentally when you have those 2 periods where you're like, I can do this, followed up by just what happened? Because I'd imagine that's kind of what he's thinking going to the sideline. Like, I can't believe I've missed another one.
Yeah, to speak on what the disconnect was, mentally, and I'm going to say this, right? I don't consider myself a kicker. I was a punter.
Okay.
Right?
I get that.
Kickers mentally are just
Different.
They're different, dude.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Really? Punters going against, they're just different.
I mean, come on now. Look at Pat McAfee and then look at Mike Vanderjagt. Like, they're completely different people.
Dogs, man. They're just about their business, like, and we can go out there, have a good time with it. Kickers are just different, man. Like, you don't go talk to them during the game because you're afraid that maybe I'm going to say something that'll get them off their game. Now, to speak to what the disconnect here is when he's warming up in the beginning of the game, goes and misses those 2 in the first half, and then comes back out and I would do the same exact routine that I've always been doing. I mean,
but then you start hitting them. So that's what I'm saying. Like, where does your mind go when you warm up, you miss them in the first half, you take a break, you come back and warm up again, and you're nailing them again.
Yeah.
And score a touchdown, you get back out there and
miss 2 more.
And you miss the net again.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm asking because, and I'm going to segue a little bit, and you
like
can take the
being in the
segue
zone.
or not.
Okay.
I saw whatever look Brett Maher had on his face, I saw the same thing in Tom Brady last night. When
Just
he
a
threw
ghost.
that interception in the end zone, and he was like,
What happened?
I don't ever do this.
Yeah.
And he's missing throws and all that kind of stuff. There was something that I saw in Tom Brady's body language that was like, I don't know if I can climb out of this today.
Oh, man. I mean, it's so hard to talk about because unless you're in the moment, and I'm sure you understand this, you know, like, I mean, think about Dak Prescott. He throws the same pass hundreds of thousands of times in practice.
Like the one against Washington, when he threw that.
Second time?
When he
Back to
threw
back?
the first one, and then it wasn't a good ball then. He threw it again. And
Yeah, and let's just take Dak Prescott out of the equation, just any quarterback in general. And you throw the same pass 100,000 times, and then you miss 4 in a row, and you're like, what in the world just happened? How did that happen? And you got to think about the same thing with the kicker. He's done that thing 100,000 times.
So did you talk to your shoes or anything? Did you be like, come on, baby, please, please, please. We got to get this right.
You talk to who now?
You
Oh, yeah. I mean, so,
your shoes.
my shoes, yeah.
Did you go
Yeah.
rub and you have a little special rag? That
those
you
are my
wipe
babies,
on
man.
or
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
They had their own backpack and all that kind
I'm
of
not a
stuff?
very superstitious guy. Some people are.
I don't believe that.
Kickers are very superstitious.
I'll say I don't believe
Very.
that.
And like I said, I'm a punter. I wasn't a very.
Are too.
Huh?
I think y'all are too.
Yeah, maybe some of them. Not me, though.
Whatever.
are there such a thing as volume kickers, like volume shooters, since the Mavs are playing, where, you know, shot might not be falling all night, but you're just like, if I take 20 of these, one of them will go in and I'll be fine. Are there any kickers out there that's like that?
You got to keep kicking?
Yeah, you just got to keep sending them out there, and then they'll get out of the funk, and they know that in their head. I gotta kick.
Lost the game by then, though. You might only get a kick one time in the game.
That's the thing about the NFL, man. It's super cutthroat. You know, like you may not get that opportunity. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I also wonder how bad it would have been if they would have actually lost the game.
Oh,
He would have got cut.
he would have had death threats. I know firsthand, man. Like, think about Andy Papanasis in the national championship game. That guy got threats for years, man.
You're kidding.
No. Absolutely, man.
I don't understand it. I mean,
And
I was upset, yeah, but
I
like,
ain't that deep.
I'm not even just. I'm not writing him a letter.
You didn't bet $500,000 either on the
Yeah,
game.
you didn't put the mortgage on the house on the game, yeah.
Oh, gosh. Okay. Well, all right. So, because I didn't know this, and I want to know, someone asked me about it today. We were talking about kickers from high school to college to pros.
Sure.
And using those blocks.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any kickers in college that actually still use block? Or
Absolutely
do they
not.
all put them on the ground?
All on the ground.
On all levels.
Yep.
So, the NFL made a statement today. Was it today? Did you hear about this?
I didn't know.
They made a statement today reminding people of not having artificial things. I don't know what they call them. So you can't put the ball on something.
Okay.
I don't know if they're taking quarters out there or
I
chips
see.
or something. You got the grass and they say, hey, we got to lift it up a little bit. So they got these, I don't know what they're doing. They're putting it down there. And I guess it's been reported.
The only thing that I can think of is like the holder will have like a piece of turf, like white turf, like a little string off the turf as like a something for the kicker to look at. Because all he looks at, he doesn't look at the snap. All he focuses on and where's that guy's fingers where he's going to place the end of the ball. So that could be something. Like if you've ever listened to like an old Pat McAfee podcast when he first got out of retirement, he's talking about, I had like a little piece of like white string or something like that would stick out that I would put on the ground for the kicker to focus on. to like have like a keep, like if you're in the middle of the field and you're, not close to like a marker or anything, like if you're on a hash, you can use the corner of the hash or something like that. But like if you're in the middle of the field, maybe you have like a little piece of like white turf string or something like that you can place there for the kicker to focus on. Maybe that's what it was. I don't know about like a quarter or something like that.
Yeah, I didn't know what they meant, but I was just like, why do you got to send out a notice of that? But maybe they're not even allowing you to put some kind of eye thing down there.
Maybe I'm just too far out of the game now, but I don't know what if that's the case. They're walking out there with quarters and $half out there, putting it on the ground.
And they didn't specifically say that. I made that part.
No,
I
know.
I don't want any viewers to think that's what they actually said. I just heard it saying that they had to send out an announcement.
You know they got weird stuff on the sideline not supposed to have all the time since Mike McDaniels got caught vaping on the sideline during the. You didn't see him?
Did he really?
Oh, he was trying to be sly with it too. He had it in his hand and he's got a little
vaping.
Paper. He put his hand down.
Just puffing it out, huh?
Yeah,
live television.
You sure it was vape and not some ammonia something?
Ammonia you go under your nose.
I know.
You don't put ammonia to your lips.
He was stressed, man. He had to take
like a huge ass fine because you don't even know what it is.
Yeah.
It's a vape, but you don't know what you can't be smoking weed on the sideline.
I wanted to go over some of the stats with you guys about the kicker.
Let's do it.
Okay? And then if y'all want to move on, you okay.
No, let's do it.
Let's start out with him specifically, okay? So since he's been in the league, he's got a 90% field goal average. Really good. Mm-hmm. Extra points, he's sitting right around 95%. Now I want to put that in perspective, okay? Think about NCAA PATs.
Okay.
What's the average on that? Like 70?
I don't have that one, but what I'm getting here at is like that's like 20 yards, right? Or what is it? It's like a 22-yard field goal.
Is that far?
So it gets snapped from the 3.
Oh, it's on the 3.
Or is it on the 2? I think it's a 3.
It might be the 3.
So 8 yards back from that. Oh, that's 11. So
21,
22, depending on, some kickers like to do 9 yards, some like to do 8 yards from the line of scrimmage. But it's a 34-yard field goal. It's no chip shot by any means, right? If we take 33, 34 yards, if we look at the NCAA average for a 33-yard field goal, what do you think it is?
53 and a half.
I was going to go a little higher than that.
It's not that low.
I was going to go 68, 69.
77%.
Okay.
Which, so
20% points. 20.
Exactly. So 3/4 of the time they make it, but the other quarter of the time they don't make it. Okay? Now, the 36-yard average in the NFL. What do you think that is?
It better be high.
Or I'm sorry, the average field goal length in the NFL was 36 yards last year.
Okay.
What was the make percentage?
87.
You better 91.
73.
Oh.
Field goal percentage.
Which is a PAT now.
Which is a PAT. So he's making that 95% of the time. He is 100% on field goals from 30 yards to 39 yards this season, between 30 yards and 39 yards on field goals. So he's 100%, but he's 95% on field goals.
Okay. I do have questions for it. I know you don't have the answers, but I do have questions.
You should have started with that, man. What you doing, man?
I know.
Because, with my stats background and math degree, I do have questions about.
Go ahead.
Oh, here we go.
I'm a math guy myself. I'm ready.
So we're about to get in a bunch of O's and ones. Y'all
y'all
better get y'all something to drink real fast. We're about to do algebra over here.
Standard questions on. Do you know if the average percentage is great, but do you know if there's any outliers? Like, is there one kicker that's like severely just bringing down the average? So what I thought about with the NCAA is like there's 130 teams, which means there's 130 kickers, and I'm willing to bet that half of them kickers ain't very good.
No, fair enough. 100%. Well, let's put it this way then. There's only 5 teams in the NFL that had a perfect field goal percentage. 5. So every other team missed one.
Okay.
So if we're talking about the difference between 100% and 95%, it's 5 extra points.
Okay, so I wanna ask you this, or give you some homework.
Okay.
I would like to know this. Since
Okay.
you brought that up, because I think that's excellent. That's awesome. We need to cut that out here somewhere and make sure we put that out. But can you break that down maybe by the SEC
Okay.
or something? Those percent, something maybe by. I'd be just curious to know with that. Like he said, can we? I know it's not the same type of pool, but I wonder if there's any differences, or at least.
Well, yeah, because we were just actually talking about this about like how longer field goals are typically made in Denver and in domes. That's because of the atmosphere and like the lack of weather conditions. So unless your name is Justin Tucker, you're not kicking a 66-yard field goal if you're not in Denver.
Sure.
Okay. All right. Well, that's interesting.
He's 9 of 11 for 50 plus too.
Dang.
Thank you, sir.
You just wanted to get on.
I know. Thank you.
Yeah, he's 9 of 11 from 50 plus.
I'm not letting him on it. So we got a guy out here. I'm not even going to call his name because he got on the Steelers.
Long of 60-yarder too. So I mean, he's got a big leg.
So there was a point at which, and I can't remember what it was, but I think Jeremy Shelley was one of them.
Okay.
You had a long distance kicker, and you had a short distance kicker.
Yeah.
The short answer is why? Like, it doesn't seem
This
to
college
me.
or pros?
No, this is college. Alabama had a guy like basically if it was over 50, this guy was kicking it, but if it wasn't, then the other guy's kicking it.
Oh, yeah.
I get it from the short perspective. Like,
Sure.
well, that guy just can't kick 50 yards. Got it. But why is it that the 50-yard guy can't kick the 30-yard one?
Well, so that was the case when I was playing. We had J.K. Scott and we had Andy Papanasis.
JK. Oh, right. He was kicking the long field goal.
Yep. So,
But JK's I get that because JK's a punter.
but if you look back in high school, he was like top 5 kicker in the country. Kickoffs, he's unbelievable.
Then he went to the dark side. He started hanging out with y'all down on the strip.
Yeah, exactly.
Then switched.
I promise you, I don't think I saw JK on the strip one time. Not one time. And I was there pretty often. So, No, but so Andy was anywhere from 48 yards in, roughly. And JK was anywhere after that. So if we had like a long field goal, say like in the national championship game when Andy missed the kick, if that would have been a 55-yard field goal, that would have been JK.
Wow.
Yeah. And he had every right to.
But, so you still didn't answer my question, though.
What was the question?
Why? Why can't JK kick the 48-yard field goal?
Well, there's the thing. It's like it's a super long season. Do you really want JK out there doing all 3?
Gotcha. Okay.
Because at the end of the day, that's a lot of kicks, man. And last thing you want you to do is your All-American punter to be doing all 3. And by the end of everything, the end of the season, he's average at all 3. Right.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right. That's fair.
So it's not that he can't; it's because he also had other duties. So
exactly. And I don't
So
know
that
the case
would
where
lead-
Jeremy Shelley was there. I don't know what the situation was.
Jeremy Shelley may not have. That's the name I remember. I may have very well been talking about Papanassos and JK
No, you're
Scott.
good.
But I guess that means it. The reason there's probably no team out there that just has 2 sole kickers that has a cutoff somewhere.
Especially not in the NFL.
Well, I know not. In the
Definitely
NFL.
not.
Carry one. So, yeah, the NFL is going to carry one.
Yeah, and they have that kind of built-in system anyway, right? Like, hey, in reality, it's really hard to find just a punter in the NFL.
Really?
Oh, yeah, 100%. At some point, I promise you, most of them had done both.
Oh, okay.
Because that saves them a spot, right? they don't have to bring an extra kicker or something like that, like where in the NCAA you got 85 guys you can bring, not 53 in the NFL where you need to really think about who you're bringing. So you got a punter who probably can do kickoffs and kick field goals if necessary.
But didn't you do that in high school?
Oh, no.
Weren't you a kicker in high school or something?
If you put me out there on a PAT, I'm squibbing that thing.
I'm trying to get him to be on the other side of it.
I really can't. Yeah, I have watched kickers for a long time. I can tell you probably what's going wrong with them.
You just mad because you couldn't be a kicker. You're a hater. You're a hater.
I think no, and no. I have so much respect for kickers. I promise. I really do because I couldn't do it. As much as I tried, like trying to do the motion and figure out where it needs to hit on my foot, I just couldn't do it.
Okay, well, lighten it up a little bit. Tell us something that might have happened to you anywhere, in college though, that might have been, I'm going to say a freaky kind of play. Was there a bad snap, something kind of funny where you had to try to regather yourself that was awkward or different, or were all your punts just, you had great snaps and...
Yeah, luckily, Alabama gets the best. We always had the number one long snapper. It didn't happen to me per se. I remember when Ty P. Brown was punting. And it was in the LSU game when Joe Burrow was there. They came to town. This was the game when, Donald Trump's in the stands. Really big game. And that came down. What was the score of that game? I mean, it came down to a touchdown, right?
What year?
6 points. It was 18. Or was it 19? It was 19. And
45.
Ty's standing back there, and I'm like, all right, yeah, we got this. Snap went right over his head. And I was like, oh, no. Uh-oh. But we planned for that, right? But we're so used to it being perfect that he just was like, what am I supposed to do? So, I mean, I only had one situation when I was, starting. Iron Bowl. I think that was 18 or 7. Yeah, it was 18. Where we had a bad, I'm not going to say any names, but somebody let somebody go free right up the middle and blocked my punt. Oh. And I'm looking around, no one has it. I turn around, and it's like 5-6 yards back. So I start running back there for it, and I just get smoked. I hadn't been hit like that since high school. I figured out, why most of the guys, or I was the smallest guy on the team.
Your sister says the score was 39 to 27.
What, the LSU game? No, it wasn't, Calvin. Get out of
here. She said the game that Trump was at was 39 to 27.
She knows best.
Calvin, you wrong. That's wrong.
Have y'all ever looked at how punters,
I love you, though.
When punters and kickers get up after they get hit, they just look all kind of messed up. They be over here. I mean, they don't know how to move no more. They look like a little baby or something.
I remember.
Y'all look crazy here when y'all get up.
It was Baylor's punter that got planted into the ground against Michigan State in the Cotton Bowl. That's easily one of the hardest hits I've ever seen. He got blindside blocked on a punt return. I thought the man died.
Yeah, that's not good.
Oh, I got a good story for you.
Hold on, before you tell me.
Okay, go ahead.
Did you ever throw the ball? Did you get a pass?
That's a great story. Man, I got tons of them.
Tons of passes?
No. That's a great story. I got tons of stories.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So my last game as an Alabama football player, we're playing against Michigan in the Citrus Bowl. And he's going to get mad at me because I'm going to name his name here because we're really good friends. Right. And we're standing there on the sidelines. Coach Banks at the time, Coach Saban standing right there, and they go, let's do a fake. And we had been planning for this all year. We're in the same fake. Direct snap to me. Irv Smith runs down like a little wheel route, and I hit him on the sidelines. And it was perfect. It was set up perfect. Until Slade Bolden lined up in the wrong side. We had to call timeout. We never ran it. Oh. So, Slade, I appreciate that, buddy. That's awesome. Yeah.
That's funny.
On my last game as a college football player, the last game I ever played, you ruined that for me, and I'll never let you live that down.
Okay, so what was the other one you were getting ready to tell me before
So this goes back to the whole botch snap thing. High school, we were playing Northridge, Bo Scarboroughs. Put against Bo Scarborough in high school. And this is not the case. I had a horrible, well, he wasn't terrible, but he was pretty good. He was an average long snapper, right? He was, hit or miss at times. And it just soared over my head. I didn't even have a chance. Sometimes you're like, oh, I can jump and get it maybe. Nah, I just started running backwards. And Bo Scarborough, I picked the ball up, and I was like, that's why he's going to Alabama.
Have you ever had a Oscar-level performance on something that you definitely did not get hit?
Oh, I used to sell tickets to those things, 100%. I don't think I ever got the chance to do it at Alabama just because usually my protection was really good. But in high school, I used to sell those things left and right. Oh, yeah. I definitely got a couple calls that I shouldn't have.
Those are my favorite.
Yeah.
I've seen, and then, but
There should be a penalty for flopping.
It's not in the NBA.
It is now. If you got up, because your opponents begin brave now.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all flop, get the flag, and then get up and just celebrate.
Yeah, for
the
sure.
The ref should totally be able to just pick up the flag and be like, "Nah, never mind."
Right. You should.
I mean, I get where you're coming from, but like I'm out there for 4 plays a game. Let me get my time to shine.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
I'm loving these kind of stories. So, are there times when you guys are off on your side, doing your little thing over there?
Sure.
That y'all were like talking about the personal protectors and the guards and going like, I sure hope this son of a gun block this week. Man, I just want to step to the right. Something. Tell the truth now. I'm not telling you to call his name, but did you realize being like, because we do it, you be like, defense be talking about the offense, like, man, it really.
I feel like for the most part, I don't know if I have a distinctive, recollection of one specific conversation or a couple of conversations that we had, but for the most part, we knew our place, right? At the end of the day, we understood that we couldn't get our job done without them.
Hold on. I just have to interrupt because Catherine has just told me she's an Auburn fan.
Yeah, she is.
What the hell?
She went to Auburn.
Say it louder.
Yeah.
They said, why are you an Auburn fan? Please
How did you allow this to happen?
Where y'all from?
I'm the youngest, so I really
Oh, okay.
I didn't have an option. I mean, she went to college 4 years before I did.
Okay.
Yeah, and honestly, I swear, I wasn't a true Alabama fan until probably I went to Alabama. My dad went to Michigan. I grew up the biggest Michigan fan ever. Oh yeah. I was screaming "Go Blue" to the top of my lungs until I was probably 18 years old.
That's so funny because that's where I wanted to go to school.
Yep. I love the big house, man.
You say that.
So I put it up there. Yes. The score in 2019 was 46 to 41.
Yeah, 5 points.
So where she get her information?
I really don't know because
Ken, you're probably just
Trump,
looking at the
it's
young.
a different game though. She said with Trump though.
So what I did was I looked up when Trump went because that's not hard to find, and all the articles were written in 2019.
Yeah, of course.
So then I went to the 2019 score, and it was 46 to 41.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm pretty good with the scores.
Must be an Auburn thing.
I don't know.
Yeah, Catherine, sorry, man.
That's why I did.
You're going to get grilled on this show, dude.
Can you tell me what year that you looked at that was 39 to 27?
We need some background on that thing.
Was that a basketball game? Because I don't.
Hockey score?
Oh, that's funny.
Anyways.
All right. Well,
Shout out to you, though, Catherine, being super
where's she saying?
involved in this whole thing.
Hold, please.
Yeah, no,
Hold,
she's
please.
gonna go find out what year that score was. 'Cause
Oh, yeah.
I actually do not remember an
1945.
Alabama score. Yeah.
I'm trying to say I can't say that for her.
She said she's gonna screenshot it to Mikey.
Mikey.
Yeah, that was my childhood name.
Mikey.
I'm a junior. So everyone would call my dad Mike or Michael, whatever it was, and I was I was the junior. And they were like, "Oh, Mikey's the perfect name for you." So I was Mikey until I was about 12 years old.
Nah, we're bringing it back, buddy.
No.
I heard somebody called Chili Nikki today.
No way.
It was Coach Hay at the thing.
Oh. Which, by the way, you threw me off. I did just learn that now we're going on this is called Squirrel, right?
I love squirrels, man.
You said the Cardinal cabinet. I didn't know what that was, and then we actually talked about it today. I was like, hey, my son said something about a Cardinal cabinet. What the heck is that? And they said, oh, it's the same thing. It's Cardinal Information Night, but we just started calling it something different because we had new leadership.
Oh, well, Chili told me that it was supposed to be something a little bit different. That's why they were calling it Cardinal
Yeah,
cabinet.
because that's why they went up into the Athenaeum. You know what Athenaeum is?
What now?
Yeah. So
Athenaeum.
another.
Do you know what Athenaeum? Anybody here know what Athenaeum is?
I actually want to know because one of the parents.
Okay, go ahead.
One of the parents was talking to today.
It's at a school.
Asked me, well, I'm gonna give it away because he said, "Is this really the library?"
Yes.
And I was like, I know they don't like you to call it the library. They like you to call it the Athenaeum. And I said, I'm not smart enough to know what the difference between an Athenaeum and a library is. But he was appalled at the low volume of books.
That's why it's an Athenaeum.
That's what I thought.
Because there are not enough books in there to be called a library. That's the truth. You
All right.
look it up. But
All right.
that is what I was told on why they don't call it a.
So I got the screenshot that Catherine sent me, and that was the score at the beginning of the fourth quarter. It wasn't the final.
It wasn't even at the end. How did you get that? Okay. How do you get that score?
So this article reads,
Does it say fourth quarter?
Trump left the game with 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter when LSU Tigers had – it wasn't the beginning, but it was mid-fourth quarter when the LSU Tigers held a 39-27 lead over the Alabama Crimson Tide.
That's your blood. That's your blood, man. She must be a kicker.
Yeah, exactly.
She went to Auburn.
Yeah, she must be a kicker and went to Auburn. But anyway, okay. Well, JT, we're about to.
Oh yeah, we are over.
Well, no, we got an hour in because we started a little late.
Yes.
We'll go as long as y'all want to. I'm all in for this.
Well, no, so I want to bring you back because I want you to do some other statistical stuff on these kickers and maybe, in your free time.
Okay.
You can do that. But why don't you tell everybody what you're doing now anyway? Because I was told that you're handling money.
Yep.
And then one of your clients over here walked in with like a money bag of stuff in his.
Oh, I do not handle that guy's money. No way. You got too much cash on hand for me to know.
So why don't you tell everybody what you're up to, though?
Yeah, so I kind of do two sides of the financial service industry. One side, I help manage and educate corporate 401k programs. And then on the other side, I do private wealth management for individuals.
All right. You can't, it's just like you got a name of the company or something?
Yeah, I work for Vision Point Advisory Group. We're a private RIA firm based out of Dallas, Texas. We got locations up in South Dakota. We got location in Minnesota, Iowa as well. But this is our home office. And yeah, I don't know how much more you want me to get into it, but
no, I want to know. I'm trying to. If people want to know, and maybe they want to. Toss you
Maybe they want
$50,000, 100,000,
maybe they
something,
want
and
Sure.
try to
their
invest. How do they find you? What do they? Can they? I'm not asking for you to give your phone number.
no, you're good.
But is there a website or something?
Yeah, you can go to visionpointadvisorgroup.com.
You can text him your bank account information
Yeah,
along with your social and credit
Screenshot.
I
card.
accept debit cards, credit cards. Hold on. Yeah, no. Yeah, you can go to visionpointadvisorgroup.com. All my contact information's on there. If anybody wants to shoot me an email or give me a call, yeah, if you go to the website, you're going to find my phone number anyway. So, but feel free. I love what I do. I love helping people get to retirement and helping them better themselves. And there's nothing better at the end of the day when someone wants to retire and they look at their bank accounts and their investment accounts and they say, you know what, I can do that now. Because people work really hard these days, and the last thing you want to see anybody do is not be able to enjoy all that hard work they've done their whole life. So that's what I love about my job, and I get the opportunity to do that where I work.
Okay, sweet. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thinking about maybe giving you something. I told John that. I said,
Sure.
you know what, I might just see what he can do so I can talk about your sister, I guess. And
Slide me a little bit of cash, and then, you can start talking about Catherine, how she went to Auburn and what happened there. Yeah.
that's right.
Catherine, next time just click on the link and read the rest of it before you.
If you're looking for scores, just go to ESPN. Anyway.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, Catherine, I love you to death, man. But you got to do better research than that. I don't know what they're doing over there at Auburn, but.
Oh, well. Okay, well, that is it, JT. I think that we're going to wrap this up so that we can indulge in some cheese sticks for the close the kitchen.
Oh, yeah.
I did want to ask you one question. Who is your favorite kicker you ever played with?
Favorite kicker that I ever played with.
Better question. How many kickers can you remember that you played with?
Yeah, that's a fair question.
Chris Jackie was a kicker for us at Green Bay. He was good.
Yeah.
I think he got in some trouble or something.
Happens to the best of them.
Damn kickers. They always want something. The kicker here, I got his damn number on my phone all the time. Oh, shoot. I'm having an old man moment looking at his face. And I really liked him, so he would be my favorite if I could remember his name. Got a school now in the class.
You not helping
Chris
nobody.
Jackie.
You already said Chris Jackie.
No, not Chris Jackie.
Okay.
All right.
You played for the Cowboys?
He did play for the
So
Cowboys.
I've been corrected. It's not visionpointadvisorygroup.com. It's
Oh my
vpadvisor.com. Sorry. It's shortened.
Boo.
He promises there's only Dr. Pepper in his glass.
Yeah, I swear. I promise. This is not. It's not liquor talk. I promise.
What are you searching? Kicker?
Yeah.
Surgeon kicker in contacts.
Yeah. Shoot.
My name better not pop up. Remember, I'm
Realism
not a kicker.
Sports Talk says,
All my
George, I need a shirt
Cowboys.
with your college play call on the play you showed on Twitter.
I need to.
Didn't you have a link? I think there's a link
I
in that
did.
tweet.
There should be a link to it.
I think he wants it for free. I don't think he wants to pay the $40.
Oh well, he's tripping. Then.
Let my man get paid. You know?
Only $28 or something like that.
Plus shipping and handling.
So I'm gonna have to get
Plus
back to you
tax.
on it because I can't remember the name. I got all these cowboy names in here.
Man, this was so much fun. I got to be honest with you. I appreciate you having me on.
Well, I'm glad it only took me 12 times to ask you to come out here and get you out here.
Yeah, that's totally on me. I'm sorry. No, in reality, I live about. I mean, in traffic and everything, I live a good hour from here. So.
Would you on the Fort Worth side?
No, I'm in East Dallas.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm just about 10 minutes east of downtown.
That's where all that money.
I do drive like a grandpa.
Don't you? You live right by John?
Huh?
Y'all know?
No, I live, about 30 minutes from you, John? Yeah, give or take. I hate paying for tolls, though, so I always take the...
Oh, he's like your sister.
You that guy.
Yeah.
You're that guy.
I don't
you
even...
stop the tollway, you get off. Last free exit, you get on or off.
If it's not off 75, I probably don't go.
That's why it take you so long.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Come over, go to the tollway, hit George Bush, come on up. Anyway.
That's why people love me as their money manager, because I'm a penny pusher.
All right. You know, that might be a good endorsement right there.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't pay for tolls.
I don't even own a toll tag.
That's just reckless.
I know it is.
That's bad.
And I'm man enough to
You must
accept.
don't have kids yet.
0, no.
Yeah, that's why.
No.
As soon as you get kids, all that's going to change.
I'm going to throw that puppy on, I'm
Because you're not
sure.
going to want to ride in the car all day. I got to hurry up and get there. I got to hurry up and get there.
Got to get out this car, man.
What time is practice? Oh, God. But anyway, I'll get back to that, man. I'll probably think of it when we get off the show here for a second. It's really bugging me. But anyway, it's been good. We want to have you back on. I want
Love
to give
to.
you an open invite. I know you live an hour away.
Next time somebody misses 4 field goals.
Yeah, I was about to say,
yeah.
we might have you back on next week.
No, or maybe we can.
I sure hope that's not the case.
Maybe when somebody does something good, maybe you can give us some very critical stuff. So I think what I would like to do is get him on a show where we can actually talk about the 3 parts of that. What the center is, or what the snapper is doing, has to do because there's a lot of very integral parts, right? Where they have their hands on the ball, where the threads are. How do you get it to spin to where where like in high school, where the kicker is having to, or the holder is having to spin the ball?
Sure.
How do they work it to where they grab it and they put it down? It's already right where it's supposed to be. I know there's a method to that. I understand it.
I know we're trying to wrap this thing up, but if you go back and watch the kicks that he missed, and yes, the two that he missed, the first two, just pushed them, right? They went to the right. They just faded off to the right. But if you watch the second one really closely and you watch the hold, the ball is still spinning when he kicked the ball. So another thing, has he kicked enough footballs where that's been the case? Yes. But maybe they weren't in the game, you know? So that's another one of those things that, you know, one of those circumstances that don't always happen all the time, because that the holder's done the same thing 100,000 times, right? But that definitely didn't help. Yeah. So, and that was the thing, like it went left instead of how he normally fades his ball. So that's why I look at it as like, yeah, he missed 4 PATs. But, you know, something like that can definitely affect how it goes about things. And that can also mess with the mentals of a kicker as well. Like, hey,
I knew this much about the snap.
I didn't. I did not. No. And you know, it'd be great if
I sat in on the special teams meeting, had to figure all this stuff out so I can teach people.
My long snapper in college, he is in the XFL right now. He plays for the Seattle Dragons, I think is what it is.
I think that's right.
But I'll get him on the phone. Mm-hmm. And you can ask him some questions as well while we're live. That'd be cool.
Yeah,
maybe we also need to get him to do one of those film breakdowns on some punts and kicks.
Oh, he'd love that.
We'll have to talk about coverage and what the actual punter, what's the punter's responsibility after they punted. Is it just to get out of the way?
I got yelled at that so many times. I got yelled about that so many times.
Here's my personal philosophy when it comes to kickers and punters making tackles. I think
they're just supposed to slow them down, not supposed to tackle them.
I think that a punter and or kicker should be able to kick the ball and walk straight to the sideline and not even have to worry about it.
I don't agree with that one bit. I support you, though. Can I tell another quick story?
All right, let's do it.
Okay. So, I mean, I'll take into effect, I was a linebacker in high school.
Okay.
So
You must have went to a small school.
No, 7A school in Huntsville, Alabama. We were the second biggest school besides Hoover.
I'm just kidding. Man.
No, you're good. I'm here for it. Believe me, I'm telling you, you are not going to hurt my feelings. I used to be like 240. I was a big guy. And when I went and played at Eastern Illinois, this was my first game in college. And actually, it was probably first or second punt of my career, and I punted it, and we had been doing film all week, and their return guy had just transferred in from the University of Illinois. Well, you know, being at Eastern Illinois, that's a big deal, you know, coming from FBS to FCS. So this kid is like 6'4", like 240 pounds. I don't know why he's back there. He's built like a defensive end, but he was the one returning the ball. And this is not Alabama, remember? So that cover team was not like Alabama. People whiffing and just doing all this other stuff. So he gets down the sidelines, and I'm the last one available. So I went in full linebacker mode, and I smoked him out of bounds. Ooh. And he was so pissed. He got up and looked down at me and was like, what the fuck was that? Yeah. And he stood up and crushed my hand. I got the scars on my hand from when it happened. Broke my hand in 2 places.
Wow.
And you know, at a smaller school, like you play 1 pay game or 2 pay games a year. Those are your favorite games to play in. Right. So we're going to Northwestern the next week. And I'm like, man, I want to play in this game.
Yeah. Well, I don't know anything about that getting pay games or play somewhere.
Well, Texas A&M tried to get us to go.
Drake to play Texas A&M?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Think about
Coach said no?
No, Coach actually called a team meeting
What the AD said. No.
and asked us whether we wanted to do that or not. This was Johnny Manziel's Heisman year, and all of us was looking around and was like, well, how much is the school getting? And he was said something like $600,000. We're not going to go down there and get an ass beat for $600,000.
No, how crazy is that? Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. That's the crazy thing about it is like when we played Citadel, you know, and Citadel kept it real close against Alabama back in was it 17, 16? It was one of those years. But we're going into halftime and we're losing to Citadel. And we're paying them $1 million. Yeah. You know, that's the crazy thing about it.
Well, I think we all have the self-awareness because I was still playing corner at the time, and the DBs are all sitting next to each other. We're looking around like, so which one of y'all covering Mike Evans?
Yeah, no doubt.
No, we're not going down there. We're not going to go out here and get beat like that.
That's funny. That's funny.
All right, I'm done with the stories, man. I'll let you wrap this thing up.
People love the story, so we do appreciate it, and that's going to be a good one. So we do appreciate everybody that are downloading this for us, and don't forget that we are on YouTube. Go ahead and hit that bell. Subscribe to us. That number is going up, and we do appreciate it. It's always great to be out here at the Lantern. Great people, as you can hear, coming out. They're going to be singing some karaoke in a little bit. We're going to try to keep Jono off the mic tonight. So he's not doing it. Well, I don't know. We might let him need it. We need to let him do it because he got on that Steelers jersey over there.
Yeah, that's right.
But anyway.
Just in case y'all forgot, the Steelers didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah, neither did my Saints.
You're a Saints fan?
Huge Saints fan. Who dat?
How did I not know that? I didn't do enough research.
I don't think that's on the internet.
Yeah, okay.
Well, it is now.
We will be
true.
back again next week. I say we, as in the show will be live next week. We don't know who's going to be here at the place, but I promise you, if there are any other kicker mishaps or punter mishaps, we're going to bring on our new kicking expert.
I'll be here
to come in and tell us what's up. He's going to come back because he got some free cheese sticks and free drinks tonight. So now he'll make that hour drive for it. But he need to come out and see the people, the really good people.
No doubt. Y'all are a great crowd for sure.
Have a good time.
Okay, John.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
He's talking
Are
to
they-
the Steelers and the 6 rings and all this kind
Where are
of
the
stuff.
Steelers at right now? Are they at
Well,
home?
see,
Are they doing the same thing you're doing?
Tuesday. We just have a good time with his friend. It's unscripted, as JT always tells us. We don't have no little sheets that we're looking at, timeline, and all that. We just like to have a good time and speak around the table and, let it go where it goes.
Thanks for having me,
we
man.
We do appreciate it very much.
JT, it was a pleasure, man.
Thank you very much. And we are going to see you next week at 8:15. Deuces.